Video by Morgan Production. Apparently stats don't matter in Jujutsu Kaisen.
Morgan Production.
Thragg can physically shatter planets. He can fight inside the core of a star, move at a town.
Okay, so let me guess. This is gonna be like the Thragg versus Gojo thing, right? Yeah, Thragg cannot touch Gojo.
Thousands of times the speed of light and punch completely through the strongest beings in his universe. But
if Thragg can blow up
the Grand Regent,
what the heck? If Thragg can blow up the planet, then yeah, he can defeat Gojo. Otherwise, Gojo wins by using Infinite Void.
Of Viltrum into Jujutsu Kaisen, these physical stats are completely useless. Today, we are proving exactly why GGK's broken, reality-bending mechanics absolutely humiliate raw continent-crushing power. Let's go! Let's start with the absolute ceiling, Satoru Gojo. In a pure physical fight, Thragg is infinitely faster and hits infinitely harder, but speed and strength do not matter when you cannot punch through the literal concept.
Thragg could beat Sukuna, but he's not beating Gojo. He can beat Sukuna, he can beat Modulo Yuji, he can beat Dabura.
Of distance. Gojo's limitless divides the space between them infinitely. This is what most people don't.
Like, I don't want Thragg fans or Invincible fans to take this personally, because I'm literally admitting that Thragg one-shots Sukuna, Modulo Yuji, Dabura, even Maharaga. It's just he can't hurt Gojo.
Understand. The harder and faster Thragg pushes, the slower he moves. The second Thragg realizes he's swinging at thin air, the fight is over. Gojo expends unlimited void. Now, Viltrumites have enhanced brains to process information, while flying at light speed. But against unlimited void, the biological advantage becomes a far.
Even if they have some type of like biological brain advantage, there's just nothing saying that they would literally be able to survive unlimited void. Like it can't be proven.
Total weakness. Their hyperactive nervous systems would process the infinite flood of information even faster, instantly burning out their synapses and leaving.
So it's actually more dangerous that they oh, that's crazy.
The most dangerous alien in history completely braindead. But what about the King of Curses? Even in his true.
Sukuna gets one shot. Like literally, he gets one shot. Unless he's a cursed object, in which case he can't be destroyed, of course.
Heian form, Sukuna's standard cleaves and dismantles are not scratching Viltrumite's durability.
Sukuna's not doing anything to Thragg, bro. Unless he uses his world cutting slash.
Cellular density is simply too high. Sukuna's absolute only win condition is the world cutting.
Yes.
Slash. Why? Because world slash doesn't target Thragg's body. It targets the literal coordinates of space that Thragg occupies.
Yeah, not even Thragg would survive a world cutting slash. It's just not even debatable.
Does not matter how dense your cells are. If the space your body exists,
he probably wouldn't even survive Yuki's black hole.
Is violently bisected. But here is the brutal reality. The speed gap is massive. To even get the attack off, Sukuna has.
Yeah, now that's completely true. Honestly, Thragg probably one-shots Sukuna before Sukuna even tries to use a world-cutting slash.
To forge a desperate binding vow, the exact millisecond he perceives Thragg. It is a pure quick draw. He lands it, Thragg is cut in half. He is a fraction of a second too slow, Sukuna's head is punched into orbit. Now, Yuta Okotsu and Yorozu both have the.
Okay, Yorozu has her perfect sphere, which can genuinely erase Thragg, but the reason Yorozu is not winning against Thragg is so obvious. Thragg is just going to speed blitz Yorozu. The only person Thragg cannot defeat is Gojo.
Instant kill mechanics. Yuta has Thin Icebreaker to shatter space, and Yorozu.
Thin Icebreaker does not do any damage. Come on, man. Even if Thin Icebreaker is supposed to shatter space or whatever, it's weak. Like, Thin Icebreaker was not a strong attack. I literally watched Sendai Colony, and Thin Icebreaker's weak, man.
Has the true sphere, which exerts infinite pressure.
Yorozu is not getting her perfect sphere off on Thragg. Thragg will one-shot her before. Thragg will one-shot her before anything happens.
In a domain expansion, these become shoe-hit attacks that bypass durability entirely, but they share one fatal flaw. Thragg is an alien. He has absolutely zero cursed energy. By GGK rules, he is treated exactly like Toji or Maki.
Okay, that's fair.
Barrier, Thragg is a ghost. Before Yuta or Yorozu.
Wait, so does that mean Infinite Void actually wouldn't work on Thragg if we're treating him as like Maki or Toji with a heavenly restriction? Or does Infinite Void still work on people without cursed energy? I don't know.
You can even cross their fingers to expand a domain. Thragg shatters the barrier from the inside and violently turns them into red mist. This exact same rule completely destroys Hiromi Higuruma. People always ask, can Higuruma just put an overpowering enemy on trial and use the Executioner's sword? No, because
So before Higuruma even says domain expansion, Thragg is gonna speed blitz him.
Thragg has zero cursed energy. Deadly sentencing cannot physically trap him inside the courtroom. You cannot confiscate the technique of a man who doesn't use magic. And you cannot execute a man who refuses to stand in the courtroom. Higuruma gets obliterated.
Well, actually, if we're using verse equalization, I still don't think we should assume Thragg has a heavenly restriction because that's still rare. Like, usually most humans have some degree of cursed energy, but I guess he is an alien. Whatever. Let's just go with it.
Before he even opens his mouth. So, if barriers don't work, what about immortality? Mahito is where things get genuinely brutal. Physical damage means nothing to him. He just reshapes his soul. And since
Actually, Mahito has a chance to defeat Thragg if he gets off Idle Transfiguration. And Thragg can't do anything to Mahito because Thragg doesn't know how to damage the soul. Bro, Mahito's so broken.
Thragg can't perceive the contours of the soul. You would think Mahito wins with one touch of Idle Transfiguration. Wrong. Thragg doesn't need to see the soul. He will just relentlessly obliterate Mahito. Thragg is so fast, he would pulverize Mahito into a bloody splatter.
Actually, okay, well, yeah, Thragg could probably just throw Mahito into space.
10,000 times a minute. Killing the soul still costs cursed energy. Thragg wins. By forcefully draining Mahito's cursed energy reserves to
Yeah, if Thragg really wanted to, he could. Yeah, okay, fair.
absolute zero. Until the curse literally cannot regenerate anymore. And that brings us to Kinji Hakari. Hakari hits a jackpot, gains infinite cursed energy, and becomes completely immortal for 4 minutes.
Hakari still gets one shot, and RCT doesn't work if you're already dead, so Thragg wins against Hakari.
And 11 seconds. But Hakari's physical output is pathetic compared to a Viltrumite. So what happens? Hakari becomes immortal, Thragg realizes he won't die, grabs Hakari by the throat, and throws him into the vacuum of outer space.
Easy.
Immortality does not matter when you are suffocating in a frozen void. Hakari floats in orbit until his jackpot runs out and then he dies. And before anyone mentions Mahoraga, the adaptation fallacy ends here. People think Mahoraga can adapt to anything, but the rule is simple. Mahoraga has to actually survive the first attack for the wheel to turn. Thragg doesn't use complex techniques, he just hits with the kinetic force of a meteor, exactly like Sukuna had to do with the fire arrow. There is no adaptation. Thragg turns the Divine General into a blood mist on the very first punch. But after all of that, there is one ultimate anomaly. Fumihiko Takaba. To beat
I don't think we should use Takaba because his curse technique is just kind of a joke. Pun not intended, but I just don't think we should really use Takaba versus Thragg. It just seems like BS.
his reality bending technique, you have to play
Okay, Thragg one-shots Takaba before Takaba even thinks of a joke. GG.
alone with his comedy, understand the beat and break his confidence. Thragg is a ruthless, bloodthirsty conqueror with zero sense of humor. He would just get violently, uncontrollably angry, and that is Thragg's downfall. His anger would only make the situation funnier to Takaba, which strengthens the technique. Yeah, Takaba refuses to kill, so he wouldn't actually finish Thragg off, but Thragg wouldn't be able to land a single hit. It would just be an endless, humiliating loop of a comedian treating a planet-destroying alien like a circus prop until the Grand Regent completely loses his mind. But I know what you have been waiting for. Let's be entirely realistic. Thragg is a tactical genius who has survived thousands of years of galactic war. If he realizes he can't bypass Gojo's infinity and he can't outfunny Takaba, he's going to take the ultimate coward's way out. He doesn't have to fight them. He just flies into orbit and shatters the Earth's core.
Yeah.
Gojo, Takaba, and Sukuna are still biologically human.
That's the one way Thragg can defeat Gojo if he just blows up planet Earth.
cannot survive the vacuum of space. Thragg wins the war, but only by running away from the actual fight and destroying the battlefield entirely. Speaking of destroying the battlefield, they just wrapped up the latest Jujutsu Shenanigans tournament in the community. Here is the absolute most insane winner of it, Newbie Che. If you want to get featured in the next video and prove your mechanics are better than raw stats, join the Discord in the pinned comment.
Jujutsu Kaisen is so popular. It's insane. But yeah, ultimately, Thragg destroys. You can argue Thragg doesn't beat Gojo, but that's about it. Like, Thragg is destroying everybody else.